So for someone that's considering it in the industry, are there things that you would do differently in how you've journeyed this last like decade or so building Lynch custom homes? Anything you would change along the way, or any additional insights that you give to somebody starting out?
I mean, there's always little things to look back at, but they're all just little things. I mean, I think we grew it the right way. I'm proud of it. I mean, 16 years in business that's pretty sweet. I mean, I don't know many other businesses that, I don't know, to only have 2 jobs in my career at this point it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
So let's talk about some fun stuff. Like and I think this ties back into like your character and values, right? So for years, you did all these highly competitive like marathon runs, and you were going every weekend for like a decade.
Sure.
And you've essentially done every major like competitive run globally that you could do.
I mean, it seems,
and then retire.
Yeah, that's not in a desert. Or something like
right.
Yeah.
Well, you did through the mountains in the freezing cold snow.
I love those.
And we're talking about like running 100 and what was the longest race you did?
Like under 120. Yeah.
120 miles.
Yeah.
Running on your feet for like, was it 2 days straight?
Yeah.
Without sleep.
I'm not fast, so it takes a while.
Through the mountains, up and down through the elevation.
Yeah.
So, talk about like what internal part of you like drove you into those like exotic type runs and sports when you got into them? Because I do think it's a testament. It does tie back to like your value systems and like how you're disciplined, you push your limits. You guys, you and your team are all very focused on accomplishing like higher and higher levels of success.
Yeah.
And you can see that in your personal life, like even in your hobbies, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about how you got into like marathon racing. Like what was the first one you ever did? What was the passion that drove you to it? How did that like develop and compound? And
yeah. I mean, I was a runner in high school, a little, and swam in high school. So kind of triathlon was like a natural, like pretty low barrier to entry for me because I already kind of did 2 of the disciplines pretty well. And so I met this guy. I was always trying to run a fast marathon, really is what it started out with. And I could never break I wanted to break 3 hours. And I would get there really close and then I'd get injured. And I get there really close and I get injured. And I met this guy, Roman, a really good friend of mine now. And gosh, this is almost 20 years ago now. And he had finished an Ironman like every year for 25 years or something like that. So this guy was never injured. And I'm like, whatever that guy's doing, I'm going to do that. And it was frequency and consistency. And those were that's his motto. And it was like, if you're frequent and you're consistent, then you're going to be fast and injury free. And it was totally true. Like changed my life on endurance sports for sure. And trained with him like every day for 6 years for Ironman races, triathlon. And then that's a really long day too. I think you have 17 hours to finish that or something, but it's a race. Like it's fast. And so I started getting a little tired of going fast. And I was like, I really like running long, like really long. Like I could easily run 25, 30 miles, just for fun at a slow pace. And it wasn't like hurting the next day or anything. So the kind of natural progression in these really long ultra marathons started that way. Was like through this guy Roman I met, and we'd watch these videos of these guys running through the mountains, and I'm like, I could do that. Let's go. And just kind of fell in love with that. Like kind of my yoga, my time to kind of get away from everything and wake up pretty early to do my training. So a lot of it was in the dark, and it's just kind of nice to have some time to yourself. And if you're running fast, you're like worried about your breathing and your form and like really, but when you're running slow, you're just kind of hanging out in the woods and jamming through. You can really start planning for your day, planning for your month, thinking about your family and how you're going to make them better, and think about like just, it was nice. It was like relaxing for me, I guess.
Almost like meditated quiet time early.
Yeah.
I remember you talking, you get up super early in the morning and you would go run, 20, 30, 40 miles?
Sometimes, yeah.
And you did that. So the frequency and consistency were key. So every morning
every morning doing something.
Go run.
Yep. Yeah,
like 3 hours.
Yep. Yeah. Maybe not run for 3 hours, but do something for a couple hours every morning. Yeah. I don't do that so much anymore. I kind of transfer that into pretty passionate about work these last 2 years. It's been pretty fun. Yeah. So